Welcome back to the Stocks Update. I hope you're all doing well. In today's detailed update, we'll dive deep into the latest developments around Lucid Motors, what's going on with the broader market, and how all of this might shape the near-term future for LCID stock. Let's not waste any time and get straight into what you need to know. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not financial or investment advice. If you decide to invest, please do your own research. Your money, your decision. The start of this week, Monday and Tuesday, looks relatively calm on the data front. There aren't many economic reports or scheduled speeches from Federal Reserve officials during these days. Instead, the markets seem to be digesting some rather unconventional catalysts, a heated media spat between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. As bizarre as it might sound, this feud is affecting investor sentiment. Last Thursday marked a significant point in this drama, but things escalated over the weekend. Trump made some strong remarks suggesting that Elon Musk could face serious consequences if he continues behaving the way he has been. As a reaction, Elon removed several controversial posts from his social media. This move suggests there's genuine tension between the two. What makes this situation even more unusual is how it's dividing public and investor opinion. It's almost like we're seeing a Team Elon versus Team Trump dynamic form in financial discussions, especially at a time when robotaxis, a technology strongly tied to Elon's ventures, are expected to be showcased soon. The timing is peculiar, to say the least. Looking ahead, a noteworthy event is scheduled for the 9th of this month. The United States and China are expected to engage in high-level talks. This meeting could serve as a major catalyst for the broader market, especially if any form of agreement or positive outlook comes out of it. Then, moving into the middle and end of the week, we'll be seeing some critical economic data. Wednesday brings the Consumer Price Index (CPI), followed by the Producer Price Index (PPI) on Thursday. Finally, Friday will feature the University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Report. Each of these has the potential to shift market momentum, depending on whether the results meet, exceed, or fall short of expectations. When it comes to earnings, there isn't anything groundbreaking on the calendar this week. GameStop is reporting, and while it usually gets meme stock traders buzzing, it's unlikely to affect Lucid significantly. Lucid may be heavily shorted, yes, but it hasn't fully embraced the meme stock identity in the way GameStop or AMC have. The broader market doesn't seem to associate LCID with that kind of speculative hype, at least not yet. Now let's zero in on Lucid. This week, Lucid plans to maintain its presence at select retail locations, such as King of Prussia and Nashville. Beyond that, there's not much on their public-facing schedule. Sales-wise, things are a bit underwhelming. Data shows Lucid managed to sell 975 vehicles in the U.S. recently. To some, that's a disappointing figure. One critical point worth noting is that none of these were Gravity models. That's significant, and the data sourced from Motor Intelligence backs that up. It shows V trucks sold, meaning no Gravities were included. There have been several drone flyovers and reports hinting that Lucid is actively producing Gravity SUVs. So where are those vehicles going? Some believe these units may be heading to Lucid Studios or being used for promotional purposes, rather than being made available for sale. Alternatively, there may be underlying issues such as supply chain bottlenecks contributing to this absence. Turning to the short interest, it's clear that bearish sentiment around Lucid is still very high. As of this week, nearly 31.73% of Lucid's free float is being shorted. That translates to around 391 million shares. That's a massive number and suggests that short sellers are betting hard against the company. Even this past Friday, short positions increased by over 10.43 million shares. That's a very significant spike in one day. Most other stocks saw relatively minor movements in short interest. So the question arises, what do these investors know that the general public doesn't? Technically speaking, analysts using Elliott Wave theory are predicting a possible decline toward the $1.88 mark. That range between $1.80 and $1.90 is where many believe a support level could form. Lucid's communication strategy is another area that desperately needs improvement. Recently, there was news of a deal with Blacklane, a premium chauffeur service. However, details surrounding this partnership remain vague. We don't know how many cars are being ordered, when deliveries are expected, or which models, Air or Gravity, are part of the deal. Everything so far is speculation. This lack of transparency is frustrating, especially considering that during the Q4 earnings call, Lucid's interim CEO Mark made it a point to stress that the company intended to be more open moving forward. Unfortunately, that commitment hasn't been reflected in their actions so far. Now, let's talk about options. Lucid closed the last trading session at $2.15. At that level, there's hardly any open interest in the-money calls, only about 4K contracts at the $2 strike. That's not likely to move the needle on its own. However, looking further out on the options chain, we can see some interesting levels. Around 10K open interest at $2.50, 57K at $3, and about 2K at other nearby strikes. If LCID can build some positive momentum, maybe from good news, a global deal, or easing short pressure, it could potentially test that $2.50 resistance. But that's a big if. As it stands now, $2.15 places the stock below its first support S1 level. The key pivot is $2.18, and if Lucid can break above that, it might reclaim some bullish ground. Below that, support levels sit at $1.99 and $1.69, and the Elliott Wave forecasts suggest we could see price action drift between those support zones this week. Looking at the technical indicators, Lucid's chart is concerning. The price is below all major moving averages. The stochastic RSI is extremely oversold, which usually suggests a potential for a rebound, but only if other conditions improve. Despite all the ups and downs, Lucid dropped only about 1.83% last week. That might not sound like a lot, but given the volatility, it reflects a lot of back-and-forth sentiment among traders and investors. What makes Lucid's case more intense is that these bearish players are extremely focused on key technical levels. They pushed the stock below the 200-day moving average, then broke through the 100-day, and now they're targeting the 50-day. It's all very calculated. And they're clearly aware of the Elliott Wave target of $1.80. That's likely their next move. Bring it down to that level, then let it rebound, just as they've done before. To sum things up, Lucid is facing an uphill battle this week. While broader market developments and economic data could help, the internal struggles, low sales, vague partnerships, and mounting short pressure are making it hard for LCID to find stable footing. If you're an investor or someone closely watching the stock, this is a week to stay alert. The market's watching, the shorts are ready, and Lucid needs to step up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Lucid can weather the storm and bounce back? Or are we in for more downside? Either way. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps us continue to bring you in-depth market analysis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.